Sorry for the technical delay, but on tonight's episode, we'll talk about Bronny's health scare while at practice at USC, and while we'll discuss what his future plans should be, what's going to happen with him at USC, and why the conspiracy theorists need to chill out. Plus, Jaylen Brown got the big extension with the Boston Celtics. 5 years, over $300 million. What does his deal signal for future superstar deals down the line here? We'll discuss those two subjects, plus any other news that has happened between the past couple of weeks. Thank you for tuning in with us here at Fast Break on iSports Sports Radio, your direct feed for all sports, and you're welcome to join us. And join us at your shout tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I apologize for the technical issues. This microphone, if it goes bad, it kind of distorts the sound for both of us. So I got to get that figured out. But D-Lock, how you doing tonight, sir?
Everything is going well. Like I said, it's still kind of off season. We just seen a great match yesterday, but basketball is still around, and also football is coming up.
So let's hop into it, and we'll talk about this LeBron James Jr. or Bronny that he's been known as. Let's dive into the situation with him that happened the week, we kind of took off. As y'all know, LeBron James Jr. Had a health scare at practice last week. While practice at USC, he collapsed after practice, was rushed to the hospital, and it was in ICU. Was there for a couple of days, got taken off ICU. He's now recovering at home and all that good stuff. So that's the great thing. He's back home recovering. I think LeBron posted a video of him either today or yesterday, him playing on the piano, all that stuff. So it seems like everything's fine, so far. D-Lock, I'll throw it to you. What were your first thoughts of hearing about Bronny going to the hospital? I was actually driving to the beach when that news broke, all that stuff. So I was like, damn, I really can't comment too much right now. But what were your thoughts when you see that report about Bronny being rushed to the hospital after his health scare?
To be honest, that's a scary thing for anybody, to go through something like that. The biggest thing is knowing that he had to be rushed. I'm trying to figure out, how did this happen? What could have led up to this happening? And my next thought process is, what is the future for him playing basketball? Not to go off topic, but we've seen, DeMar Hamlin go through something very bothering, Bills and Bengals game. When that happened, the first thing you think about is the safety, the health of the athlete, and just saying, well, they don't need to, participate in that sport, or in sports, just because you don't want them to experience something like this again. So when this happens, my first thought process is, thankful that he is alive and he's back. When they got him, there. The next process is, this guy's 18? This kid is 18. He's going to have, or planning to have, a year, I'm sure, in college basketball, and then go to the NBA. Me, I don't have any kids. You do. I have a child. Just this alone is a scary thing to think about. I would be super nervous as parents or as family members anytime that he steps on the court. So for me, it was a very scary thing. I'm pretty sure him and other family members, anybody close to the family, know more so of the reason why. More information about it. But that's a very scary thing, man. And just to get back to being active as an athlete, it's going to be nerve wracking, not only for him, but for many that know him. So, I believe I asked you, I said, do you think he goes out, and play basketball again? And that is a question that him and his family is going to have to discuss. So, it's great that he's back. I believe they put a video of him playing the piano. But realistically, you have to think about life outside of sports also, just to make sure you have that backup plan and, for safety reasons. So definitely a big scary thing to me. Hopefully, like I said, they, take this super serious and, think about other plans in case basketball isn't the option.
I think for me, it's like we seen the DeMar Hamlin situation, and it's just like they stopped the game, they didn't play, they didn't even remake it, all that stuff. They just what this dude basically had to be resuscitated, brought back alive on the field. Spent a few days in the hospital. It got the okay to continue football, even though I'm on a fence on that. Because if you in a cardiac arrest and stuff like that, you have one like that. I guess what I'm trying to say is like you're on new medication now. You got do things different. You got to do tests, all that good stuff. It's gonna be a long process. And for Bronny, I don't. It's tough. It's tough for him as an 18-year-old kid. Like, dang, I've been healthy all my life. I got the best money that that things could buy me to achieve what I got at this level. Like best doctors, best equipment, best enhancements to kind of get me an edge. All that good stuff. And this happened to me. And now what kind of medication he's gonna be on? How is that going to affect him mentally, as an 18-year-old that's like, I gotta take this medicine now. I can't do some of the wild stuff I was kind of doing. All that good stuff. And now you expect to go in year one at USC with a lot of expectations with that squad, a high recruiting class, all that stuff. November 6th, playing against Kansas State, a school that's always been a good, solid basketball program. November 6th is a little ways away, but is he going to be ready by then? And then, do the family step back, tell them like, hey, let's get your strength belt back up and try this again next year. Because, we seen what happened with Shaquille O'Neal's son, Sharif. He had his heart issues, had open heart surgery, was very high talented coming out of high school. Things didn't work out at UCLA. Went to LSU, didn't really pan out, and now I, playing G League now. So it's not the end of the world of things, but if he does play, I just want him to be a good, clean bill of health before he steps on the court. And we don't know the severity of his cardiac arrest. Also, so I hope they don't try to rush things. I hope he don't try to rush things. I hope Andy Enfield, the coach, don't have to feel pressured to put him out in this situation. It's just like a lot of factors. I just hope everybody takes in. It's like, hey, it's just a game. The game's always going to be there. USC is always going to be there. We can take things slow and come back around next year or so. But what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I think that is something that is going to be very, very important because, like I said, I think that health is everything. Especially as an athlete that plays a sport like basketball, where there's really no nonstop at all. But there's a former FSU basketball player named Michael Ojo that actually went to school when I was there. I believe collapsed on the court, playing, I believe, in Europe, in Serbia, actually training. And he had a heart attack and he passed away from it. So this is something that, like I said, it happens, but you have to be, very careful of what is going on and how you take care of your body, the thing that you put in your body. How often are you training? So for me, I think that is what they need to monitor, and it's going to be very important for USC to do that, and other helpy people to help him around him. He's going to need to have those people around him that can help him and monitor those important things to make sure that this is something that does not happen. So again, I believe that before they do make any move, obviously have high expectations. They need to make sure that he's safe and healthy before they trot him out there on the basketball court.
Yeah, and like I go back to USC and Andy Enfield and all that. It's like if you look at the recruiting class they got brought in, and let me pull it up right now. Oh, come on now. I had it up. Give me just a second, ladies and gentlemen.
I think their recruiting class was pretty deep too. So they have those high expectations at USC, which we haven't seen from them on the basketball court in a long time.
Yep. Yeah. Like Isaiah Collier. Probably either one or two, depending on who you look at for our recruiting rankings. One of the top prospects in the country. Marietta, Georgia, going all the way to USC. Arton Page. Same high school from like Collier. 6'9" center forward, where you want to put him. Then you got Bronny. Then you got Brandon Gardner. And then you got DJ Rodman, who you got from a transfer from Washington State, who is by the way, Dennis Rodman's son. So you got a pretty good, strong group of guys there that came in. Mainly, Arton Page, Collier, and James. But and then you got the returning players as well. So, like I said, I just hope any NFL ain't don't feel pressured if the kid's okay to good to go to play him. You know, and to speak to LeBron James, he's got to look at it like this. He and his wife got to look at it like this. There's more to the game of basketball. I know basketball has brought them, riches and goods, more they can speak of. And, we know LeBron, let's talk about, being, the poor kid from Akron, all that, and all that jazz. But he's been like a multimillionaire since he was 18 years old. And sometimes, I know you want to look to your sons to carry on your legacy, but sometimes there's other ways they can do that. And, you know, do you want to risk your son's health just to continue, the legacy on the court?
Right.
We Jordan's sons, they tried that and it didn't happen. Um, who else I could think of? Well, Kobe, unfortunately, and then his daughter, unfortunately, died in a helicopter crash. So we'll never know how she will be. Uh, there's other folks I could think of. We see now like Carmelo Anthony, his son, he's coming up through the ranks right now. Uh, Harvey Grant, both his boys made to the league. Dale Curry, we've seen the sex story of his boys, mainly Steph and all that. So it's like a hit and miss on these legacy kids to kind of continue to carry the torch.
Yeah, and we see it in remember basketball isn't the only sport we see it in. We see it in baseball, as well. Rarely see it in football, I believe, but there's all these sports you hear these great stories of a son uh, following up following the father's footsteps. Playing as good or hell even better. So, like you said, I think that that'll be something that LeBron has to really, and the family have to really say, well, hey, this is not important. Now, honestly, I mean, I know he would love for that to be the case, but I think that when something like this happens, a lot of things are considered. Also, that may have been thought about as well is how much longer does he play? When this happens to somebody, your son or somebody so young, you thinking about how much time that you can spend with them, not only him but the rest of his family and his kids. So, uh, does that change how he considers playing basketball? How long? I think something as important may impact that decision.
And yeah, it should. And it should impact that decision. It should. Look what Chris excuse me. Look what happened with Chris Bosh. He found out, the blood clots, all that stuff, and he never played again. And he ain't tried to play it again. But like, dude, you gotta think about it, like, dude, you on blood thinners, warfarin. I can't think of the drug he's on. He's been advertised on, but if y'all know what warfarin is a blood thinner. You know, Xarelto. It came to me. Xarelto. He's on damn Xarelto. If you don't got good insurance, that shit's expensive. You do. You on Xarelto. You got blood cards. You can't come back, man. And lucky for you, the NBA contracts are guaranteed. So I mean, people got they got to think about their health and stuff like that. People got to think, you know, and you know, we seen like let me say this before 2020, we seen athletes have cardiac issues and die from these related problems. You know, Hank Gathers comes to mind. You see stories like countless college kids having cardiac arrest and dying. It's a scary thing. Think about. Red Mike. Well, shout out, Mike C does great stuff for the network and his show for iSports Radio. Shout out to Mike C. And Mike C brought a good point, a good person, D-Lock, Reggie Lewis. I mean, I don't say it's a rarity, but it does happen that these young athletes pass away due to cardiac issues. And it sucks for me. It sucks. You probably saw some online, whatever, on X now. But even the X's own owner, Elon Musk, saying, it probably was the COVID vaccine, that stuff, and they got the jab, and that part contributed to it. I was like, what the fuck? And he's not the only one. There's people I actually follow, and I try to kind of give them the side eye. I'm like, y'all blaming this on the COVID shot? We're really doing this? Some are being vague about it, D-Lock. Some are outright saying it. The little thing about me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a point. Like this, some stuff I believe there's conspiracy about. It's like too much coincidence that it can't be denied. But for something like this, to throw the COVID shot in this with what happened to Bronny, it's a load of BS. The aliens and all that stuff, I believe. Because it's just too much evidence and stuff like that. And even our own U.S. government confirmed it. And people didn't really care. JFK getting killed by the CIA, I believe. Bronny having cardiac issues due to COVID shot, I don't believe. But to kind of see past years when young kids dying for cardiac issues pre-COVID, and now we're getting fit here, everybody playing on the COVID shot. I don't get it. I really don't get what these people's mindset is to kind of get to that point. But D-Lock, we've seen it in our society. People can come in and say wild stuff, and believe it or not, we get folks that believe what these people say.
Yeah, and that's what is happening with different conspiracies or thoughts. Um, thing is, when things happen, the first thing a lot of people ask is why, and they want to know a why. Um, and the thing about that also is when people believe this is the reason why, there's no talking them otherwise. Anybody, it is very hard to convince somebody, hey, this is the actual reason why X, Y, Z, if they believe one thing. So a lot of people, I've seen it on Twitter a lot too. People talking about, well, COVID may have been the reason, COVID shots or whatever. And people have their different thoughts. Um, but to me, I just, like I said, seeing all these other athletes have uh, the same problem or same issue. I'm sorry, not problem, same issue. I think there's something that needs to be uh, discovered, and at some point, we need to find the results with the reason why. Because for somebody to be as healthy as Bronny is, to have this happen, especially in 2023, we should definitely be able to find the reason for these things.
Yeah, it's just like you got people saying stuff and all that. It's like, what are we doing? You know, I'm on Twitter, X, or what you want to call it. And he's going through. You know, some of these folks that believe in conspiracies for their own agenda. Like, why do you get to this point? And another thing, D-Lock, that we see in our society is like people don't research nothing or backtrack, stuff for back in the day. Say, okay, before I get in here and say this, really stupid thing, let me look up other young athletes having health issues that died in while playing college athletics, and then you get like a whole list of folks. So I just don't. Well, I get why they do it. They got a base of folks they got to cater to, but it's just like not everything's got to be lunch meat for your base. You know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's a tough thing, man. And the biggest thing is to find out why and how to move forward with that. That would be my focus. And I'm pretty sure the James LeBron family is going through a lot. Obviously, him posting him playing the piano, show that he's feeling better. Um, and that's just being active, being a human, doing normal things. I would say the biggest test is going to be when you do go out there and you know try to be active on the basketball court. That's going to be the big test, which is probably the most important.
Yeah, I hope I hope he don't rush to the basketball court. I think that's the main thing. I think I want to see is like don't rush back to the basketball court. If Bronny happened to hear the both of us talk, like don't try to rush back. USC ain't going nowhere. They get big donations all the time.
The NBA ain't going nowhere either.
Yep. NBA ain't going nowhere either. G League ain't going nowhere. So just chill out, relax, get your mind right. Spend time with your folks. And then, I know that compared to spirit, it lives in you. But don't try to rush it.
So young too. That's the thing. Very young. Has so many aspirations of being this great athlete. But health comes first. So, him and the family definitely have to think about that. I'm sure his dad. I'm pretty sure LeBron is thinking the same thing as well.
So I hope they, and mainly Savannah, like mainly her, say, "Hey, baby, chill out. You need to chill. Let's rest. Don't even think about no basketball right now. Just relax." You know. So I hope that's what the message is being conveyed right now to him. Just chill, relax, and get your mind right. And then, go and they probably see the best doctors and they just go from there. So we'll keep an eye on this. Like we said, USC's first official game, November 6th against Kansas State, which I think is being played at Manhattan, if I'm not mistaken. No, not at Manhattan. They're playing in Las Vegas, so excuse me. So that first game will be in Las Vegas. We shall see if Mr. James will be playing that game or not. So time will tell. But deal, let's switch gears real quick to our other subject tonight. Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics got a new 5-year, $304 million deal for the Boston Celtics with no play option. So just a straight 5-year deal with the Celtics. He's locked in for the next 5 years to go along with a contract extension with Porzingis, who they got in the offseason. D-Lock, what are your thoughts of Jaylen Brown getting this big-time extension from the Celtics? And what could the Celtics do to kind of will this keep them in contention for years to come in the Eastern Conference?
Man, to be honest, man, I thought that was a hell of a lot of money for Jaylen Brown. That is a lot of money. I think that right now they're probably normally had to lock him up or make sure they put the good contract on him. The question is what they're gonna do with Jason Tatum. How much he about to get paid?
Woo!
Because you pay Jaylen Brown all that money. It definitely tells you that clearly we know that Jason Tatum is the lead charge on this team, and we got to see how this is gonna play out. But I think that Jaylen Brown had a hell of a season. He's been playing very well for them, but damn, that's a lot of money, man. I mean, I just hearing it, it just was like, dang, all of that, in my mind, I thought that they were probably going to, possibly shop him around because they haven't really done anything. Uh, I think didn't he recently have a contract? I think 4 years, 100 mil or something like that.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he had one. Yeah, 100 mil. Making around 20 between 20 and 26 mil per year, which is probably pretty decent. But now you go from making 25 to 26 mil to making damn near 50 plus a year. So for me, whoever the hell his agent is, kudos. They did a hell of a job. But like I said, 5 years, 303. The thing that I really here. And what really sticks out is, like I said, what is Jason Tatum going to get? And also, another thing is, how long are they going to stay with this contract? Are they going to be looking to ship him in 2 years, or are they going to, have him play this whole contract out? Because at the end of the day, you pay somebody all that money, you're expecting for them to win titles. And as good as Boston have been, they played well. For them to lose to Miami on the year that Giannis ended up being hurt, KD leaves Brooklyn. It seemed like this was the year for them to get that chance to go back to the NBA Finals and have a great matchup against the Denver Nuggets. And they couldn't get it done. You have an injured Malcolm Brogdon on that team right now. Looks like Robert Williams is just not getting healthy. We ain't got Porzingis. This team is definitely going to have high expectations once again. But not only that, now you pay this man all the damn money. The expectations just definitely went up. So, again, hey, shoot, congrats to him for making it. I'm definitely not going to hit on him getting paid. But damn, that's a lot of money. And like I said, the biggest thing is what's going to happen with Jason Tatum. And I'm scared to see what his contract going to look like.
First, Ori Mike C's comment, he said, who's the highest player in the NBA? But the Celtics, they have much of a choice. Because I want to say make all pro or whatever, but they all may get the Supermax. For me, for Jaylen Brown, I think we knew it was coming, but we didn't know the details. But $300 million plus, whoa boy, and that's pre-tax, unfortunately for him. But for him, it was a good move for him. He said some things in his press conference. Say, he wants to help bring up the black wealth with it. I'll say, kudos for him to doing that. I also say this to him is watch your back. Because when you talk like that, some folks get squirmy in their chair and they trying to knock you down a few pegs. But I salute Jaylen for taking that stance. But you talked off of the air a couple weeks ago about our biggest losers, and I forgot to mention the Boston Celtics. And one of the reasons why I put them as losers when we talk off the air is because they traded away Marcus Smart to still get Porzingis. All the while, you still keeping Malcolm Brogdon on the roster. And yeah, I share my feelings on Malcolm Brogdon before on the show. Like, he's a fine player when healthy, but the healthy part is few far between for him. So you trade away Smart, you have to keep Brogdon because of the injury issues. That's why I think they came out losers in offseason, because if you can get Brogdon away from your team, you still keep Smart. You bring in Porzingis. Now you got Brown locked up, Tatum. You still got Horford, Williams. Derek White's still in the fold. I think you come out looking stronger to go back to the Eastern Conference Finals, in my opinion. Now you trade away Smart to Memphis. At least a glaring hole at your backcourt, because you don't know if Brogdon's going to be healthy by training camp. And now you get that. Now you got to put the extra pressure on Jaylen Brown to do more. And I think he can step up to the task, D-Log, but it's like, I think one thing I hope he's working on or is working on this all season is his ball handling. If he can like work on that coordination with his ball handling and all that stuff, stop dribbling off his feet and stuff like that, kind of work it to maximize with his length on that stuff, he can be very deadly. But if he don't progress in that ball handling department and all that, then the Celtics, I don't know. They can get tripped up here and there for a few mistakes. And if you don't got like a Matt Broughton healthy, you depending more on Jaylen Brown handling the ball more, which you don't want. And that's why I kind of like thinking this all season, like, damn, they need to get some more another ball handler out there in there to kind of to relieve some of that pressure. Like there's an Austin Rivers out there available, for example. Someone like that for cheap, you can bring up to ball handle. Or you got to get the car keys to Peyton Pritchard and see what he can do. You either got to sink or swim with that dude. You can't continue to be that fan favorite for the Boston crowd. You got to sink it in with that dude. So I appreciate him getting his money, but I just hopefully it don't stifle Boston's growth to kind of really develop that roster still. And I hope Brad Stevens is thinking, oh ho hum. Just because we have Porzingis, I think that can get us over the hump, past Miami, past Milwaukee, um, past Cleveland. And I think I'm missing somebody else. Philly. So we'll see how it does. I think he'll continue to do his thing, D-Lock. But when you're making that much money, you subject to more scrutiny. And we'll see how it goes for Jaylen Brown. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, paying him all that money, they have some high expectations. And I think that this is probably going to be one of the more talented teams that they have. I think that once they have this team put together with a Porzingis who can stay healthy, I think he's pretty decent. When Jason Tatum get his money, I think they'll be fine. But that's a lot of money, man. And the expectations do come with paying somebody as such. So I think that if they don't win the title in the next couple of years, it makes Jaylen Brown possibly being traded.
So so like you mentioned about the trade rumors about Jaylen Brown. If it didn't happen by now, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Because if they wanted to trade him, they could have traded him from KD. They could have traded him from Damian Lillard. But the fact that they didn't do it and they gave him the extension anyways says they still want him around. So that's my opinion on that. And we'll see what else Boston does between here and training camp to make that backcourt a little bit better. Before we get out of here, ladies and gentlemen, let's see. Just want to go to some WNBA scores real quick. Final scores for tonight. The Lynx beat the Sun 87-83. Mystics, they lose to the Atlanta Dreams 80-73. The Storm 85-62 over the Fever. Mercury losing to the Sky 104-85 without Brittany Griner, who's taking some time off due to mental health issues. So, there is that. And then also they don't got Skylar Diggins right now. So Diane Taurasi's on her own, basically, with Sophie Cunningham trying to, carry that squad. The Liberty, who's been really, really, really hot, been playing excellent ball, won it 87-79 over the Sparks. Brianna Stewart, never strong game for her, 25-9 for her.
She's playing great.
Oh yeah, she. I think we're talking possibly MVP at the end of the year, possibly.
Yep, she's in the running.
But they cooked the LA Sparks 87-79 for that final score. The Aces, oh boy, they kind of been on the news here past couple days. They win 104-91. Asia Wilson, 22 points. Chelsea Gray, 27. Kelsey Plum, 28. I mean, they were rocking and rolling despite the news that they had last week as well. Let me pull up that player's name. Oh, what's that girl's name? I can't think of that girl's name. Anyways, one of those Las Vegas Aces player, she got in trouble for beating her wife for like an hour.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember hearing about that. See if I can get that information.
Oh, I got the player's name. Raquina Williams.
Okay.
Yeah, Raquina Williams. Yeah, they say she was beating her wife for an hour. So, excuse me, beating her wife over an hour or so and all that stuff, and this ain't the first time she had this domestic violence case on her. So, not a good look for her or the Aces right now, because Becky Hammond, y'all don't remember, Derica, I think a lady's named Derica that was on the team. She had gotten pregnant, and Becky Hammond's on her case. And then the old girl here, Rihanna Williams, doing this stuff, and it was just like ho hum, all that stuff. So I don't know what's up, with her, but she got charged with some felonies in Vegas. So we'll see how that shake out for her. But I don't think she plays again for the rest of the year. But I don't think that hurts the Aces at all because they're so
loaded.
They so loaded and leveled out. It's like it ain't gonna hurt them that at all. So, and plus they still top of the league anyway, so it ain't gonna hurt them. But this has been our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in with us. I know I don't sound the best, but thank y'all for bearing with me and bearing with us. Thank you for the chat tonight. Thank you for tuning in with us, Mike C, Kel Henderson, Mike Pat. Thank y'all for tuning in with us. D-Lock, how can people find you on social media?
You guys give me a Black Dash 813. I know a lot of basketball is going on, but I'll probably do a lot of tweets about football as well. Fantasy football is coming up, so I'll be talking about that as well. Let them know they can find you at the show's page.
Do follow the show's page as Fast Break at ISR. That's Fast Break ISR. Do follow IESportsRadio.com. And also IESports Radio on all your social media feeds. on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram. Do check us out on these sites. Also, do follow me on Twitter at Spawn4288. That's Spawn4288. Do follow our show, The Crooks Process, on Facebook and Instagram. On Facebook and Instagram. I'll be talking about the Titans here soon, doing my full podcast preview. The 3-and-out series started last week with the AFC. The NFC should start kicking off this week with our host Larry B. So do check out the 3-and-out series coming out this week for the NFC. Other than that, we'll talk to y'all later. If you know real big news happening, we probably won't do a show. If anything do break, we'll talk about it on X and on here live next week. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.